For 25 years, the disappearance of 27 high school seniors hung in the air like an unanswered question. On June 5, 1996, a yellow school bus carrying the entire graduating class rumbled down Forest Route 17, headed for their final celebration before entering adulthood. They never arrived. No crash site, no distress call, no evidence. Just 27 bright futures that vanished into the dense Oregon wilderness without a trace. The search lasted months. Helicopters scanned from above while teams with dogs combed every ravine, creek, and clearing within 50 miles. Nothing. The FBI assembled their best agents. Nothing. As months turned to years, the town's wound remained open, festering with questions. Then, on June 3, 2021, everything changed. Travis Milner, an amateur photographer hiking off-trail, spotted something impossible through the trees, a flash of yellow, dulled by decades of exposure. A school bus, number 72, consumed by moss and time, its metal skeleton rusted through in places where rain had found weakness. Inside, backpacks still hung from seats, a varsity jacket draped across a headrest, a disposable camera, never developed, and bones, human bones arranged in ways that defied natural decomposition. The jawbone came first. Forensics confirmed it belonged to Robert Vasquez, chess club president of the class of '96. But the position, placed deliberately at the driver's seat with the rest of his remains nowhere nearby, told investigators something far more disturbing than a tragic accident had occurred in these woods. Whatever happened to those 27 young people went beyond a simple crash or a wrong turn. The evidence spoke of intention, of ritual, of calculation. The discovery of Bus 72 didn't solve the mystery of Crescent Pines. It deepened it. And what authorities found next would challenge everything the town thought it knew about the children they lost. Before we continue, we have a small favor to ask you. Please double-check that you have subscribed to our channel. We understand that not every channel deserves a subscription, but here's the thing. Our channel's growth depends on viewers just like you taking that simple action. If you're truly interested in unsolved cases, support us by hitting the subscribe button. It is totally free to subscribe to our channel, and it helps more than you think. Also, take a moment to comment with your current location and the time. It's fascinating to see how this community connects across different places and time zones. June 3, 2021, 8 miles off any marked trail in Cascade Hollow National Forest. Travis Milner wasn't supposed to be there. The 34-year-old wildlife photographer had ventured beyond the permitted hiking zones, chasing rumors of a rare spotted owl nesting in this untouched section of forest. Instead, he found a ghost. At first I thought it was some kind of equipment shed, Milner later told police. Just this weird yellow shape through the trees. Then I got closer and saw the wheels. The bus sat at an impossible angle, half buried in soil that had risen around it over decades. Trees had grown to accommodate its presence, some even pushing through broken windows. The forest hadn't just claimed the vehicle, it had absorbed it. The number 72 was barely visible beneath thick moss and rust. No road led to or from its location. No clearing suggested how it arrived. The position defied logic, nestled between centuries-old trees in terrain too steep for such a vehicle to navigate. Milner's photographs captured what would become the most disturbing crime scene Oregon had seen in decades. The interior remained frozen in a moment from 1996. Dust-covered backpacks still contained notebooks with half-finished chemistry assignments. A Walkman, batteries long dead, held a Pearl Jam cassette. Polaroid photos showed smiling teenagers in flannel shirts and chunky sneakers. Pages torn from yearbooks, some with messages scrawled in colorful gel pen. Have an awesome summer. Call me when you get back. But these weren't the only remnants. Between the seats, underneath floorboards, and arranged in patterns across the bus, investigators found human remains. A jawbone in the driver's seat, finger bones aligned in perfect rows beneath a seat, a partial skull positioned in the back, facing the emergency exit. "This wasn't random decomposition," said Detective Marla Henson, first responder to Milner's call. "The remains were positioned. Someone took time to arrange them. Someone wanted them found this way." Most chilling was the neat stack of student ID cards on the dashboard. 27 cards, though only 17 sets of remains were recovered. Each card was oriented the same direction, ordered alphabetically. On top sat Harold Griggs, the substitute driver. The discovery that would shake Crescent Pines to its core wasn't just evidence of death. It was evidence of intent, of planning, of message. Within hours, the forest filled with investigators, forensic anthropologists, and search teams. The 25-year-old case of the missing class of '96 had reopened with a vengeance. May 1996. The hallways of Crescent Pines High School buzzed with pre-graduation energy. Lockers slammed for the final time. Teachers handed out yearbooks. Students scribbled phone numbers and summer promises on each other's shirts. For the 27 seniors, these moments held the electric anticipation of endings and beginnings. Their world, contained for 4 years within these brick walls, was about to expand infinitely. Lacey Monroe walked these halls like she owned them. Valedictorian with a full ride to UCLA, her perfect smile masked crushing pressure. Her parents had planned her success since kindergarten, and their expectations weighed more with each passing day. Her straight A's came at the cost of sleepless nights and anxiety attacks she hid from everyone. Only her diary knew how often she fantasized about disappearing, starting over somewhere no one expected anything from her. 3 more days, and we're free, she reminded her friends, organizing their camping gear for the senior trip. No parents, no rules, just us and the stars. Then there was Jared Fields, nicknamed The Lens for the video camera perpetually attached to his hand. Small-framed and quick-witted, he documented everything. From lunch periods to private moments, he wasn't invited to film. "Future generations need to witness our greatness," he joked, capturing Tyrese Hall's eye roll. Tyrese dominated the football field and had secured a scholarship to Oregon State. His broad shoulders carried the town's expectations and his father's unfulfilled dreams. Few knew about his panic attacks before games or how he sometimes pulled over while driving just to breathe. The university's welcome packet sat unopened in his desk drawer. "This camping trip better have good cell reception," he said. "Coach wants daily updates on my training." Quiet Mia Tran sat alone, sketching in her notebook. Her art teacher had called her work visionary. Dark, detailed drawings of the forest and her classmates caught in strange, dreamlike scenes. The forest had always called to her, its whispers appearing in her artwork before she even understood what she was drawing. "The trees know things," she'd once told Lacey, who laughed it off as Mia being weird again. "They remember everything that happens beneath them." The senior trip tradition dated back decades, one final weekend together before graduation. This year's destination, Eagle Point Campground, a 3-hour drive into Cascade Hollow National Forest. Principal Edwards had gathered them in the gymnasium that final Friday. "You're about to become adults," he said, scanning their eager faces. "This weekend marks your transition. Go into those woods as children and return as the men and women who will shape our future." None of them recognized the weight of his words. None understood they were being shaped for a different future altogether. As students cleaned out lockers and traded summer plans, No one noticed the odd symbols Mia sketched in her notebook. No one caught the strange man watching from across the street as they boarded Bus 72 that fateful morning. No one questioned why their regular driver had been replaced by Harold Griggs, a substitute none of them recognized. The class of '96 left Crescent Pines High School laughing, shoving, dreaming. 27 bright futures with no concept of darkness waiting down the road. June 5th, 1996, 7:15 a.m. Bus 72 idled in the school parking lot as 27 seniors loaded duffel bags and coolers into the storage compartments. Steam rose from coffee cups as students claimed seats beside friends. English teacher Marion Wells and history teacher Daniel Kovac checked attendance one final time before boarding. "Everyone accounted for," Ms. Wells announced, her clipboard balanced on one hip. "Let's roll." The morning had begun with one notable change. Their regular driver, Bernard Thompson, had called in sick. In his place stood Harold Griggs, a middle-aged man with a tidy moustache and quiet demeanor. "Good morning, folks," he nodded, glancing at each student with unusual intensity. "Ready for an adventure?" The journey began normally enough. They stopped for snacks at a gas station 30 minutes outside town. Several students called parents from payphones, reassuring them about arrival times. The bus lumbered along Highway 21 before turning onto smaller, unpaved Forest Route 17. The last verified sighting came from a forest ranger who noted a yellow school bus heading east at approximately 11:30 a.m. After that, the record goes silent. At 6:41 p.m., Lacey Monroe's mother received a voicemail that would later become central to the investigation. "Mum, we're running late. The bus took some weird turn, and now we're—" Static interrupted, followed by Lacey's voice again. "Trees look strange here. Griggs says he knows a shortcut, but I don't—" More static. A male voice, shouting something unintelligible. Then, "Oh my God, they're—" The call cut off. When the bus failed to arrive at Eagle Point Campground by 8 p.m., chaperones waiting there alerted authorities. By midnight, search teams had mobilized along Forest Route 17. By morning, the FBI had joined. Search efforts revealed nothing. No tire tracks veering off the road, no broken barriers or disturbed vegetation, no skid marks suggesting an accident. The forest had seemingly swallowed Bus 72 without leaving a single trace. "It defies explanation," Sheriff Tom Mackley told reporters. 29 people don't just vanish. A vehicle that size doesn't disappear without evidence. Yet it had. Helicopters with thermal imaging detected no heat signatures. Tracking dogs lost the scent repeatedly, circling back to the road in confusion. Even satellite imagery from the Department of Defense revealed nothing useful, just endless green canopy with no brakes, suggesting a vehicle beneath. The most disturbing aspect: not one of the 27 students' pagers or Ms. Wells's cell phone registered activity after 6:41 p.m. 29 lives erased in an instant. As days stretched into weeks, search parameters expanded. Nearby towns received alerts, hospitals checked admission records, Border Patrol increased vigilance. All yielded nothing. Bus 72 and everyone aboard had simply ceased to exist, leaving behind only questions that would haunt Crescent Pines for 25 years. For years after the disappearance, fragments of evidence emerged, each raising more questions than answers. The first came 3 months later, when fisherman Dale Burrows caught something unusual in his net on Lakeview Reservoir, 12 miles from where the bus was last seen. A waterproof disposable camera, its bright yellow casing immediately recognizable as belonging to Jared Fields. The film had been removed, the back of the camera pried open with force. Scratched inside the plastic were 3 numbers, 315. Could be a date, could be a location, FBI agent Carla Mendez noted in her report. Or it could mean nothing at all. Next came the letter, delivered to Principal Edwards exactly 1 year after the disappearance. The envelope contained no return address, its contents a single page of typing paper with a message constructed from cut-out magazine letters. The forest provides, the forest protects, the forest transforms, stop looking where they cannot be found. Handwriting analysis proved impossible, but postmark tracking revealed the letter had been mailed from Seattle, 220 miles north of Crescent Pines. Perhaps most compelling was the discovery of Robert Vasquez's journal in 2002, found by hikers in a hollow tree 10 miles from Forest Route 17. The water-damaged pages contained entries dated until June 7, 1996, 2 days after the disappearance. The final entry read, "They won't let us leave. They say we've been chosen for something greater. Mia keeps drawing the symbols they show us. Lacey tried to run last night, but they brought her back. Different. Empty. We should have never taken that turn. The trees here aren't right. They move when no wind blows. They watch. God help us, the trees are watching." Experts debated the journal's authenticity. The handwriting matched Robert's previous work, but the paper's age proved inconsistent with the timeline. Some suggested a hoax, others a genuine cry for help. These fragments fueled theories ranging from government experimentation to alien abduction. Locals whispered about forest cults dating back to the 1800s. Some believed the class of '96 had orchestrated their own disappearance, seeking escape from small-town life. Sheriff Mackley maintained a simpler explanation. That bus took a wrong turn. Hit water. Everyone drowned. The current carried the evidence away. Yet no bodies surfaced in any waterway. No debris washed ashore. No grieving family received closure. The mysteries only deepened when anonymous packages began arriving at victims' homes, containing personal items: Tyrese's championship ring, Lacey's charm bracelet, Mia's paintbrushes, each item meticulously cleaned and wrapped in leaves. The clues existed in isolation, puzzle pieces from different boxes, impossible to assemble into a coherent picture. Until Travis Milner stumbled upon that flash of yellow in 2021. What do you think happened to these 27 students? Was it an accident or something more calculated? Let me know in the comments. If you're still with me, you might as well hit that like button. The algorithm loves it, and honestly, so do I. Crescent Pines transformed after the disappearance. The vibrant community fractured, divided between those who moved on and others who couldn't. At Crescent Pines High School, a bronze plaque replaced the class of '96 graduation photo in the main hallway. 27 names etched in metal, dates of birth but no death dates, an acknowledgement of uncertainty that haunted the halls. Each June 5th, the town gathered for a candlelight vigil, releasing paper lanterns into the night sky. The crowd grew smaller each year, but never disappeared completely. Behind the doors of family homes, grief manifested differently. Bedrooms remained frozen in time. Posters of Kurt Cobain and Alanis Morissette still taped to walls, college acceptance letters yellowed on bulletin boards, prom photos gathering dust on nightstands. Some parents kept clothes washed and ready, beds made with fresh sheets weekly, waiting for impossible returns. Others sealed rooms completely, unable to face the preserved moments of lives interrupted. Irene Monroe, Lacey's mother, became the voice of relentless hope. She formed the Find Them Now Foundation, dedicating her life to investigating wilderness disappearances across the country. Her living room walls disappeared beneath maps, timelines, and photographs. Every unexplained discovery in Cascade Hollow Forest went through her first. "My daughter is alive," she told reporters on the 10th anniversary. "I would feel it if she wasn't. A mother knows." Tyrese Hall's father took a different approach. He established a scholarship fund in his son's name, focusing on creating futures for other young athletes. "Can't change what happened," he explained, "but we can make something good come from it." Some families left town entirely, unable to bear the whispers and pitying glances. Others found community in shared loss, gathering weekly to support each other through endless uncertainty. The town itself carried physical reminders. Forest Route 17 was officially renamed Memorial Drive. The local diner kept 27 seats permanently reserved, small plaques bearing student names above empty booths. The high school retired jersey numbers, debate team positions, choir solos, honoring absences as significantly as achievements. For 25 years, Crescent Pines existed in limbo, a community defined by what it lost. Children grew up beneath the shadow of tragedy. New families moved in, absorbed the story, and carried it forward. The forest itself became both villain and victim in their collective narrative, a place both feared and obsessively searched. Then came Travis Milner's discovery, ripping open wounds many thought had scarred over. The yellow bus, emerging from the wilderness like a time capsule, forced everyone to confront what they'd tried to forget. 27 young lives still waited for answers. The forensic examination of Bus 72 revealed horrors beyond initial reports. 25 years of forest growth had preserved the scene in disturbing detail. The bus rested at a 15-degree tilt, its front end partially buried in soil. Moss covered 70% of the exterior, while 5 different species of fungi grew throughout the interior. Tree roots had penetrated through rusted floor panels, securing the vehicle to the forest floor. Wildlife had nested in seats, yet remarkably, much of the interior remained intact. The preservation defies natural decomposition patterns, noted Dr. Eleanor Reeves, forensic anthropologist. The location created a microclimate that essentially mummified portions of the bus. The forensic team documented everything before disturbance. Backpacks remained in assigned seats, some open with contents spilled, others zipped tight as if waiting for owners to return. 17 sets of human remains were catalogued, each displaying unconventional decomposition. "The bones shouldn't be where we found them," Dr. Reeves explained. "Natural decomposition doesn't separate a jawbone from a skull and place it in the driver's seat. It doesn't arrange finger bones in perfect circles." Most remains showed no trauma indicating cause of death, no bullet wounds, no fractures suggesting violence. The bones simply told a story of lives that ended and bodies that were methodically rearranged. 9 students and both teachers remained unaccounted for. No trace of Harold Griggs appeared among the remains. Personal items yielded the most disturbing evidence. A disposable camera contained undeveloped film that, once processed, showed images of students arranged in strange formations in a clearing, eyes vacant, expressions blank. The final frame captured a figure in dark clothing, standing among trees, face obscured, but posture suggesting observation. Mia Tran's sketchbook proved most unsettling. The quiet artist had filled pages with drawings that grew increasingly disturbing. Early sketches showed classmates boarding the bus, smiling. Later pages depicted them standing in circles beneath massive trees, hands linked. The final drawings showed figures wearing elaborate masks resembling animal skulls, surrounding students in ceremonial formations. Most concerning was the accuracy of these drawings compared to how remains were positioned inside the bus, suggesting Mia had somehow known or witnessed the arrangements before they occurred. The location itself defied explanation. GPS mapping confirmed the bus sat 8 miles from any navigable road in terrain too dense and steep for such a vehicle to traverse independently. No path of broken vegetation suggested how it arrived. The positioning between centuries-old trees made a direct path impossible. "It's as if the bus was placed there," Forest Service Ranger Kent Blackwood noted. "But there's no mechanical way to transport something that size to this location without leaving evidence of the journey." Chemical analysis of soil samples surrounding the bus revealed elevated levels of unusual compounds, some synthetic, others organic, but foreign to the ecosystem. Trace amounts of an unidentified substance coated several personal items, a compound that didn't match any known catalogued substance. As investigators documented the scene, multiple team members reported equipment malfunctions, disorientation, and unexplained audio recordings, whispered voices captured on devices when no team members were speaking. The bus hadn't just been found, it had revealed itself after 25 years, a calculated emergence that felt less like discovery and more like invitation. October 12th, 2021. 4 months after Travis Milner's discovery, Officer Jenny Huang was concluding her shift at the Crescent Pines police station when the front door opened. A man entered, thin, weathered, his face marked by a jagged scar running from temple to jaw. His hands trembled as he approached the desk. "My name is Jared Fields," he said. "I was on bus 72. The station erupted into action. Detectives called from home arrived within minutes. FBI agents stationed in town since the bus discovery rushed to secure the building. Medical personnel prepared for potential trauma care. Jared sat motionless in the interrogation room, eyes constantly darting to windows and doors. His appearance had changed dramatically from his yearbook photo, his once playful expression replaced by hollow vigilance, his body tense as if prepared to flee. "They're still watching," he whispered repeatedly. "I was never supposed to come back." Initial questioning yielded little information. Jared appeared disoriented, uncertain of dates or locations. He flinched at sudden movements and refused food or water. The medical examination revealed extensive scarring across his back and arms, evidence of prolonged malnutrition and unusual markings tattooed on his inner wrists, symbols matching those found in Mia's sketchbook. DNA testing confirmed his identity beyond question. Fingerprints matched those on his video camera found in the bus. Dental records aligned perfectly with childhood charts. Jared Fields, missing for 25 years, had returned. His parents, who had moved to Arizona 15 years earlier, flew in immediately. The reunion proved challenging. Jared recognized them, but remained emotionally distant, his responses mechanical. "He looks at us like we're strangers," his mother told reporters, "like he's trying to remember how to be someone's son." When asked directly about the bus and his classmates, Jared's demeanor shifted dramatically. His body tensed, pupils dilated, breathing accelerated. During one session, he became so agitated that medical intervention was required. "They're listening," he insisted, pointing to the walls, the ceiling, the potted plant in the corner. "They hear through the trees. They always hear." The breakthrough came during a session with Dr. Melissa Chang, a trauma specialist. She presented Jared with Mia's sketchbook. His reaction was immediate: recognition, fear, then strange calm. "She saw them first," he whispered, tracing the drawings with trembling fingers. "She knew before any of us." When asked who they were, Jared grew quiet, then looked directly at Dr. Chang for the first time. "The shepherds," he said. "The ones who walk between trees. The ones who've been waiting for the right vessels." He described being watched for months before the trip, figures observing students from forest edges, from across streets, from between buildings. He claimed Harold Griggs wasn't a substitute driver, but one of them, placed deliberately to guide the bus to its destination. Most disturbing was his insistence that some of his classmates had gone willingly. "They offered answers," he said. purpose, belonging. Some of us just wanted to go home, but others wanted to stay. They chose to become something else. The final statement of his initial interview would haunt investigators for months to come. I escaped, but I'm not free. No one leaves the forest completely. Part of me is still there, waiting with the others, and now that I've spoken, they'll come for what remains. For 2 weeks, Jared Fields remained under protection at Crescent Pines Memorial Hospital. As his physical health stabilized, his account emerged in fragments, assembled slowly by FBI specialists and trauma counselors. The full confession came on October 30th, recorded over 9 hours in the presence of federal agents, local authorities, and his parents. The bus broke down around 3 p.m., Jared began, his voice steadier than previous interviews. Griggs claimed engine trouble, but he'd planned it. We were exactly where they wanted us. According to Jared, as students grew restless, figures emerged from the forest, men and women dressed in simple clothing, offering assistance. They identified themselves as members of the Watchers, a community living off-grid in the heart of Cascade Hollow. They seemed normal at first, friendly. They invited us to their settlement while Griggs radioed for help. It was getting dark. We followed. The settlement, called Evergreen Haven, appeared to be a self-sufficient community of about 50 people. Solar panels powered small cabins. Gardens thrived between trees. Children played in communal spaces. They welcomed the stranded students with warm meals and comfortable beds. The first night felt like an adventure, Jared continued. They sang songs, told stories about living in harmony with nature. Some students thought it was cool, this hidden world where people escaped modern pressures. By the second day, subtle changes began. The bus remained under repair, yet no outside help arrived. Cell phones and pagers disappeared from backpacks. When students questioned this, community members offered reasonable explanations: poor reception, battery conservation, respect for their way of life. They separated us strategically, Jared explained, placed us with different host families, assigned us community roles, made us feel special, chosen. They knew everything about us, our dreams, fears, family problems, things we never told anyone. The community's leader, a charismatic man called Philip, took particular interest in Mia. Her artistic abilities fascinated him. He provided special papers, unusual pigments, encouraged her to draw what the forest reveals. By the 4th day, the atmosphere shifted. Morning beverages contained substances that altered perception. Cleansing rituals introduced sleep deprivation. Group gatherings incorporated repetitive chanting that induced trance-like states. They called it reconditioning, Jared said, stripping away societal programming to reveal our true nature. Some students embraced it: Lacey, Robert, Tyrese. Others resisted. Those who questioned were isolated for deeper cleansing. Ms. Wells disappeared after confronting Philip about contacting authorities. Mr. Kovacs vanished after attempting to lead several students back to the main road. The resistance ended when they took Heather, Jared said, referring to classmate Heather Jenkins. They brought us to the central clearing at night. Torches, drums, those weird masks from Mia's drawings. Philip said Heather had rejected transformation and would return to the forest. Jared refused to detail precisely what happened to Heather, but forensic teams later identified her remains among those arranged in the bus. The community's true purpose emerged gradually. Philip believed certain humans could become vessels for ancient forest entities, spirits that had guided human evolution for centuries, but now needed physical forms to continue their work. The class of '96 had been selected through careful observation as perfect candidates. They'd been watching us for years, Jared explained, testing us. The entire community existed to identify and prepare vessels. Mia had been drawing their symbols unconsciously since childhood. They considered her already partial. The transformation involved extensive psychological conditioning, ceremonial consumption of forest substances, and ultimate surrender to what Philip called the joining. Those who completed the process changed fundamentally. Their personalities, mannerisms, even physical movements altered. They weren't themselves anymore, Jared whispered. Something else looked through their eyes. Jared survived by pretending compliance while planning escape. For 10 years, he participated in rituals, took substances, and feigned transformation while maintaining his core identity. He escaped during a forest expedition in 2006, surviving in wilderness areas and small towns across the Pacific Northwest, constantly moving to avoid detection. "They can sense their vessels," he insisted. "They can call them back if they get too close." When asked why he returned now, his answer was simple. "I saw Travis Milner's photos on the news. The bus arrangement, it's a summoning circle. They're preparing for something bigger." Jared's account explained certain elements: how the bus reached its impossible location, why no traditional evidence surfaced, the unusual arrangements of remains. Yet many aspects remained unverifiable. No satellite imagery confirmed the existence of Evergreen Haven. Searches revealed no community structures in the areas Jared described. Whether delusion or truth, Jared believed every word. His final statement in the interview remained the most disturbing. "They let you find the bus. They wanted you to know. The forest has been patient for 25 years, but now it's ready for the next gathering. And this time, they need more vessels." Jared Field's testimony split Crescent Pines into factions. Some embraced his account as the only explanation for 25 years of mystery. Others dismissed it as the fabrication of a traumatized mind, perhaps guilty of involvement in whatever truly happened to his classmates. Local officials pursued every lead, organizing the largest search operation in Oregon history to locate Evergreen Haven. Thermal imaging, ground-penetrating radar, and advanced drone technology surveyed every acre of Cascade Hollow National Forest. They found nothing resembling a settlement, no structures, no gardens, no evidence of long-term human habitation. "That doesn't mean it wasn't there," insisted FBI agent Carla Mendez. "It could have been dismantled, abandoned, or deliberately concealed." Jared's memoir, The Forest Between, published in 2022, became an overnight bestseller. The book expanded on his testimony, including detailed descriptions of life within Evergreen Haven and the psychological manipulation techniques used by Philip and his followers. Critics called it compelling fiction. Supporters considered it vital testimony. The families of the missing responded differently to Jared's return. Some found comfort in finally having an explanation, however disturbing. Others rejected his account entirely, particularly his claims that some students willingly remained with the Watchers. "My son would never join a cult," insisted Richard Hall, Tyrese's father. "Whatever happened to those kids, it wasn't by choice." Irene Monroe, Lacey's mother, surprised many by embracing Jared's story completely. "It explains why I still feel her presence," she told reporters. "Why I dream of her walking among trees. She's still out there, just not as the daughter I knew." The scientific community examined physical evidence with mixed conclusions. The unidentified compounds found around the bus remained unexplained. The unusual preservation of the site defied conventional understanding. Multiple experts confirmed the deliberate arrangement of remains, though none could verify Jared's claim that it formed a summoning circle. Cascade Hollow National Forest implemented strict access restrictions following a flood of curiosity seekers attempting to locate the bus site. The vehicle itself was eventually removed for further analysis, though several team members involved in the extraction later reported unexplained illnesses and psychological disturbances. The mystery of Bus 72 transformed from local legend to national obsession. Documentaries, podcasts, and academic studies examined every angle. Tourism in Crescent Pines surged, much to the discomfort of residents who viewed the attention as exploitation of tragedy. Through it all, the forest remained a dark presence on the edge of town, unchanged yet somehow more aware in the community's perception. Hiking trails saw decreased usage. Forest rangers reported increased calls about strange sounds and figures between trees. The boundary between town and wilderness seemed more defined, more meaningful. Whether Jared's account was truth, delusion, or calculated fiction, its impact was undeniable. The story of the class of '96 had evolved from tragedy to something more complex. A modern mythology that asked uncomfortable questions about perception, belief, and the untamed spaces that still exist between human certainties. December 21st, 2022. Winter solstice, the longest night of the year. Jared Fields stood alone before the bronze memorial plaque at Crescent Pines High School. Snow fell in gentle spirals around him, catching in his graying hair. His hand, still marked with the faded symbols tattooed years ago, traced the engraved names of his classmates. The school halls stood empty for winter break, his footsteps echoing as he moved through spaces once filled with teenage laughter. In the library, yearbooks from 1996 remained preserved in a special collection. He opened one, turning pages slowly until he reached his own photo, a smiling boy with a camera, unknowing of what waited ahead. Between pages 47 and 48, he found something unexpected. A folded note, yellowed with age but clearly placed recently. The handwriting was immediately familiar, the distinctive loop of Mia's artistic script. The circle opens both ways, Jay. Some doors shouldn't be closed once opened. The forest remembers you. The forest misses you. We all do. The date at the bottom, December 21st, 2022. Today. Jared's hand trembled as security cameras captured him pocketing the note. Outside, through windows frosted with ice crystals, the edge of Cascade Hollow Forest stood dark against the snow-covered landscape. Within those shadows, something moved. Perhaps deer, perhaps wind through branches, or perhaps figures watching and waiting. The questions lingered unanswered. How many students truly died on Bus 72? How many chose transformation? Did an isolated community of believers still exist deep in the forest? Was Jared's testimony truth or elaborately constructed delusion? The class of '96 remained suspended between tragedy and mystery. 27 young lives interrupted on the cusp of adulthood. A yellow bus swallowed by wilderness for 25 years. A single survivor with an impossible story. And a forest that kept its secrets patient and watchful, as it had for centuries before humans carved towns from its edges and would continue long after their brief intrusions faded. In Crescent Pines, they still tell stories about the woods. Parents still warn children not to wander too deep. Locals still change routes to avoid certain paths. Some stories never end. Some mysteries are never meant to be solved. Drop a comment below. Do you believe Jared's story, or is something even more disturbing still hidden in the woods? Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more unbelievable real-life mysteries.